Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go with the main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen in attendance, boxing fans joining us around the world. It's time for the bout you've all been waiting for. Finally, it's showtime.
Here, man, we dedicate our lives to this sport. We do thousands of sit-ups in camp. We run hundreds of miles, for the ones that take it serious. And we just dedicate ourselves fully to our craft, man. We watch tape. We have attitude. We rooting, and we go into that fight just to land on the line.
Once you become the world champion, I believe that you feel you have the upper hand. So now, as you fight, let's say you fight 4 or 5 years of straight survival, the bullshit, the holdback, and when you become the world champion, you're like, you know what, I made it. Now I'm going to show you it's business. So I'm going to give every dollar worth of what I deserve. Why? Because I'm the world champion.
Fans, this is the Rope-A-Dope Radio Podcast. I am your host, Chris Carlson. Had a little issue. My mic just kind of went off and on and tweaked out and whatever right when I was starting the show. So I apologize if at all it sounds really bad or whatever. Give me a text if it does. I think we're okay, but let me just test it. Okay. I think we're okay. But that was really strange. It happened literally. I had to extend the music there for a second. But anyway, hope everybody's doing okay. Welcome back to the Rope-A-Dope Radio Podcast. It's on a Tuesday night. The afternoon shows I've been abusing, so I appreciate everybody listening to the show at night, but also the ones that listen during the day live. Always appreciative. Most people listen to it on an archive. So anyway, we have a fair amount to talk about on the show. We do have, we'll start with recap per usual. Jamal James puts on his best performance of his career against Tomas Delorme. We had some other fights as well. 5 other fights as well. David Morrell looked pretty promising as a guy who could really do some damage at 168. We'll see. He's very young. So we'll start with recap, of course. Then we'll look at the busy fight weekend. Maybe there's not like that just can't miss fight, but it's busy. DAZN has a couple of cards. Showtime has a couple of cards. ESPN Plus, I think, has 2 cards. Kind of spread out, though. It's not all one night. DAZN does have a Friday night card. I think it's Felix Cash and Jason Wellborn, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, Showtime, David Benavidez and Angulo. DAZN on Saturday night as well. That Showtime's on Saturday night. Madrimov is back in action on the undercard. But Brickhouse and McCaskill should be an interesting fight as well on DAZN for Saturday. So we will preview the schedule. Like I said, start with recap. And then there's a variety of fight news out there. It does look like some positive news is coming out of the Ryan Garcia-Luke Campbell negotiations. We'll touch upon that. Regis Prograis split ways with Lou DiBella. And we'll kind of just, ask the question, where's he going to end up? Will he sign with the promoter? Will he sign with Top Rank or PBC or DAZN, or maybe he'll be free agent? We'll see. So there's a variety of other talking points. Of course, updates you on some fight news, and we got actually a decent sized boxing Twitter segment right now. And of course, for those who don't know what that is, it's just either silly stuff or random shit or just straight up ignorant stuff, whatever, just stuff that makes you laugh or shake your head, or we just call some people out once in a while, especially if you're in the media on the boxing Twitter. Just silly stuff that the media / fans say on boxing Twitter. Interesting, really quick note about the Teofimo Lopez-Vasily Lomachenko negotiations. And it kind of, I'll answer. Basically, I asked the question last week, it's hard to know exactly what to think of Teofimo wanting more money when I didn't know what the pre-pandemic money was going to be. And as it turns out, we'll get to it. We'll definitely get to it. Like I said, there's some fight news, fight announcements. Fox schedule, not really a full rollout. They did announce some fights. We'll go over some of that. Nothing that just blows you away by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of stay busy fights, or at least two of them in the main event on Fox this August. And some of the other card fights I had interest in. It always kind of threw me off this last 10 days when the media would say hey, they're going to announce 17 different nights, That's what did Showtime do? 8 or 9 different nights? And a lot of the fights, the announcements had at least one undercard fight with it, if not a full card. So it always kind of struck me as really? So they're going to announce 17 fight nights? So even if you times that by 2, it just seemed like a lot. So it's really no big surprise when I really look at it. But a couple of them may be setups for later on Fox in FS1. So we'll talk about that. They did release some dates. I'm kind of digging the Wednesday night FS1 cards. Obviously with no, there's obviously no audience. So maybe Wednesday night, just like Tuesday night when they were doing those toe-to-toe Tuesdays, it was harder to draw a crowd, for sure, even a decent crowd. Thursday, I think, is doable, but they don't have that problem right now because there is no crowd. But yeah, so we're going to get into a variety of items. But before we do that, if this is your first time listening to the Rope-A-Dope Radio podcast, welcome. It streams live right here on blogtalkradio.com/Rope-A-Dope Radio. It streams live at archives right on Blog Talk, but you don't have to either download it right from Blog Talk or listen to it, in the browser. You can find the platform in many places. The Rope-A-Dope Radio podcast at Apple Podcasts can be found, iHeartRadio, a variety of different places, Player FM, TuneIn, Stitcher. I'm also part of the Grueling Truth Sports Podcast Network, which can be found all across the board, including Spotify. You can use your Siri or Alexa through Spotify or TuneIn. While you're at it, why don't you head on over to thegruelingtruth.com. That's thegruelingtruth.com. It's football, it's boxing, it's basketball, it's baseball, it's everything in between. And one more thing I got for you. I'm actually a customer myself. It's called AT&T TV Now. It's live streaming cable. They do have the 7-day free trial. There's no annual contract. You can stream it anywhere. They do have the cloud DVR. And right now, Showtime. Well, normally Showtime is actually $11. That's in the packages start as low as $55 a month. That $11 is Showtime, right, on that package. But they do have a new special here for AT&T TV Now Max, okay? That'll include HBO Max and 1 free month of Showtime, okay? So that's the AT&T TV Now Max package, okay? And that includes HBO Max, free month of Showtime. Otherwise, in general, AT&T TV Now customers can get HBO Max for a 30-day free trial, something to take a gander at. Anyway, hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Boxing does seem to be back in the swing of things. Like you said, we're hearing good things from Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell as far as the negotiation process. And I had a good, sorry about that long pause. I had a good weekend. Went out of town to just kind of hang out with some family. Got to see a variety of folks, spent some quality time with them. And also on Saturday night, a couple of my nieces and nephews, we actually sat down and watched a fight, which we do once in a while. And being that, it's Jamal James, Minneapolis, why not go up there and watch it as part of just hanging out? So I definitely had like the last 4 days of just chilling. It was nice. Got home kind of late last night. Like I said, I hope you guys had a good weekend. Anyway, because I know I did. I had a little relaxation time, and it was nice. But anyway, we'll start to break down some of this stuff here. When it comes to Fox, quick note, I actually literally for about 20 minutes, I kept trying, well, maybe even a little longer, something's up with my DAZN. Ever since I brought it back, I've had 2 issues with it right now. But the Harper and Jonas fight, I actually didn't really get to see fully because every time I would start the fight, it would either skip to like later in the round or it would freeze. It was acting really weird. Then I tried to go and search it like not just the single downloaded fight, or uploaded fight, whatever, to stream the whole card and see if that worked. But as I couldn't get to every time I tried to get to the main event, something would happen, whether, like I said, it was jump back, jump forward, freeze. So I only saw like maybe 4 separate rounds and not even full rounds. So unfortunately, I have emailed DAZN, and in the past last year, maybe the year before, I had a little issue right when I got it, I think the first couple of months. But so I think I'll be able to get help and it'll be fine. But it's just kind of random. So I know that it was a draw, and I'm pretty sure it was a split decision draw. So I'm definitely going to catch up on it when I can. Watch, it'll be good to go tonight. I'll get an email saying, oh, yeah, sounds like you're good. But anyway, so that fight, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to talk about. But like I said, I did hear it was a competitive fight. But, yeah, I planned on, because I was out of town, so, I was spending time with the family mostly besides these chunk of hours watching this Fox card. So kind of got screwed up there a little bit, but it is what it is. On to the Fox card now. I did hear some people kind of in between on both sides of the fan noise. And I haven't spent a lot of time breaking down ESPN setup and DAZN setup, Matchroom and all that, and, BT Sport. Like, I really haven't spent a lot of time, talking too much about it. The fan noise, I didn't mind it. I did kind of like how they increased it once there was like a flurry going on or somebody maybe landing, a huge combination and then following up on it. I did notice some of that. But I did. So some people were like, I like it. Some people, it doesn't matter. I'm kind of like, it doesn't matter. I did see some people say, though, it distracted them. And I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the ESPN. Like Showtime just said no fans. ESPN did that fan thing where you can be live watching the fights and you can kind of hear it, but you can't really hear anything clear. So it is what it is. I'm okay with either way. But as far as the folks saying that it like distracted them, it's like, well, what happens when there's like a live ass bomb ass crowd? Are you just distracted the whole time? It didn't distract me. I don't think it was that outrageous, like super loud or something like that. But I did see a chunk of people say that. It is what it is. Like I said, I don't really put a lot of, stake in some of this. I'm more about the fight. There was some distraction going on from Brian Kenny and this ongoing argument in messing with each other thing that sometimes works and sometimes it's like, hey guys, there's a pretty good fight going on right in front of your eyes. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Let's take a gander here. So let's start with David Morrell against Lennox Allen. It's Lennox. I don't care. I'm sorry. If that's what it, I'm going with Lennox. Anyway, of course we know Morrell Jr. What is he? 22 years old. He's a guy that, hey, now it really makes sense that he didn't go to 2020 Olympics because they didn't happen. But also it makes sense for him not to be held back in Cuba as well as a professional fighter. So this was I'm not worried about the WBA stuff or any of the other stuff. We know that the IBF is pretty sturdy when they're sitting there saying, hey, this is our mandatory, you have to do it or we'll strip you. I respect that. Now, I don't always respect their rankings, and I think that can go around. There's a lot of rankings that are garbage. Every once in a while, you do see some. There's some right now that are decent. But these belts are whatever. It's an interim. It's a regular. It's a super. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the fights, to be honest with you. And the network, the fighters, the fighter pay, the promoters, they like to use these belts for this reason. The WBA for quite some time now has just had way too many belts. I remember probably, what was it, 2 years ago? Maybe longer, probably longer, that the WBA president said, hey, we're going to cut this down. We're going to cut them down. We're going to cut them down. But I didn't really, I didn't expect that at all. But it is what it is. I just don't get too caught up in it. Like I said, though, for the WBA, it does get you in pretty good position, though, by winning these belts. It does put you in somewhat of a mandatory ranking situation. So I think that can be positive, but I just don't put much stock in it. You can call them trinkets. You can call them secondary titles. What's the difference between this and a regional title that a lot of folks in the States and obviously the Commonwealth and the British title and all that? I'm really worried about the matchup, and for where Morrell is in his career, his third professional fight, what did they say, 130-2 in the Olympics, or not in the Olympics, but in the amateurs. Lennox Allen served as a really, just a perfect test, I really think so, because, he went the full 12 rounds. He didn't just, drop after the first big combo or something like that. Not that I thought he would, because he did have more experience than a lot of the guys. I shouldn't even say a lot of the guys because he only had 2 fights, David Morrell. But I just like this fight because, hey, this guy's fought, what they say, 3 rounds? Not even, And now he's gone a full 12. He did get hit a fair amount considering. Maybe the CompuBox, stats wouldn't draw that out at the end. But there were plenty of times that he got countered with some really hard shots. So he showed a pretty good chin. And he showed, that he needs to improve a little bit too. Like the third round, it was give and take early, but I really think Allen in those counter hooks especially when he's able to get inside. I think he won that round. I think that's a pretty clear round for him. After 5 or 6 rounds, it was pretty open. Even the 6th round was very close. I mean, I did see some people say 4-2 after 6. That's not that bad. That seems pretty good. But Morale really, he just started to dominate in the second half. And I saw that kind of starting in the 5th to an extent. But the 7th and 8th, that jab and movement. 9th was a little bit closer of a round. I did like what I saw out of the counter hooks in the 10th round as well. And sometimes early in rounds, he would land like a really hard left hook or whatever. But then busier, closing stronger, would be David Morrell. So he got hit plenty considering, but he also showed not just the fancy footwork, which it is what it is. He's a young guy, but he showed a lot of outside, inside game. He still has some amateur stuff going on with him as far as the arm punching and all that, but that's, to be expected. Overall, though, all things considered, man, I thought he looked pretty damn good. So I had it about 10-2. I'd say maybe 9-3 tops. 119, 111, 120, 108, and 118, 110. I think I had 118, 110. Maybe I had it 117, 111. But either way, when I say easy win, yeah, on the surface it was an easy win, but I think you could pretty much call him a contender now that I guess just because of who he's faced so far, you could say fringe contender. I just think that he could hang with a bunch of the super middleweights right now. I really do. Now I don't want him to move that way, and I I've been like getting these press releases for the last like maybe year or something on this guy locally. From the guy who there's a couple of local guys. Somebody that runs the the press releases and just, I suppose that's, no, you don't go through him anymore, but I'm kind of rambling on. But anyway, I've just heard a variety of stuff about him, and, they would say he's kind of like a Lomachenko or like, that we're going to move him fast type thing, not comparing him right to Lomachenko, of course, but like, we're going to move him fast. But to me, at 22 years old, he's not 26 or 27, He got a bunch of amateur fights. He obviously faced a lot of talent, but there's no need to rush him. Now he's got the trinket belt, the whatever you want to call it, the secondary belt. So I think he's going to get some solid competition, but I would wait because, like I said, he didn't have 300 or 400 amateur fights. He's not 26. So I hope they just kind of allow him to breathe a little bit. Like I said, he does get a little arm punchy, but man, when he puts his combinations together, some upper body movement, some footwork, and I'm not just talking about the fancy footwork. I was impressed, though. I mean, for where he's at, I was very impressed, I got to say. I was pleasantly, I shouldn't say surprised, but I did like what I saw, and I also liked the fact that he hit a fair amount. And so him and his coach can go back and say, hey, we got to clean that up. When you're in this position. Like, it's one thing to be up like 8 straight rounds and you're just destroying a guy and the fancy footwork comes out. But some of that was just wasted time. Some of it was just goofing off. Some of that's just him. He's he's an interesting guy or whatever. But overall, I'd say it was a very good outing, very productive outing. And we'll see where he goes from there. I wouldn't put him in with the top dudes just yet. I mean, there's really no hurry. Now, I think I mentioned this last week. Maybe they can move him like Usyk or something like that. And I know Usyk, gold medalist and whatnot. I'm not trying to, or was he a silver medalist? But either way, I'm not trying to say he's exactly on that level either yet. You know what I mean? But I think they can find it in between. Maybe move him kind of like Gamboa, actually, because Gamboa got moved pretty solid as well. So either way, good outing, fairly dominant performance. with some stuff to work on, which is to be expected. Now, the swing fight was, a 6 or 8 rounder? I think it was a 6 rounder. Omar Juarez and Willie Shaw. And, Juarez, the jab and left hand, mostly a lot of jabs, that's for sure. He's got a decent jab. Most of that left hand beyond the jab with the left hook. There were some close rounds. Willie Shaw definitely gave him a good test. Omar kind of took it over. I do want to see more of him. I think he's a good fundamental fighter, and I actually thought it might be even tighter than it turned out, being. But I did think it was a good performance by Omar Juarez. On to the main event: Jamal James, Tomas Delorme. This is just a good fight. After the first few chunk of rounds, really, it was tight. I'm looking at my scorecard right now. I had it 2-2 after 4. And then, by the time the 5th and 6th round came around, Jamal definitely started to separate himself. In the second half, he did great. And, I don't know if it's Jamal knowing he's stepping up to Delorme, and that's why he was on his, a sharper game. Not just sharper, but just less moments of exchanging and getting dragged into a brawl. Although the fans at the Armory love it, I love watching it, but in the same breath, there's going to be a handful of times, when you're in your career, that you're going to have to fight just one way or at least mix in a variety of stuff. So I was really impressed. Now, was that because there was no crowd, I don't know. If some of those huge counters or big shots that Delorme did land, if it happened at the Armory, would he try to show out even? I guess that's to be determined. And it does suck because, like I said, there weren't many tickets left for that April 11th Armory card. And to put on a performance like he did, man, this could have been just a big moment for Minneapolis in general. Not that it wasn't on a national level or whatever, but you know what I mean. It's just for the folks inside the Armory that night. Either way, not a whole lot happened in round 1. I thought James won it just off his jab. He was jabbing fairly well and pivoting in the second round, landed some body shots. I thought the early and late bigger shots were landed by Delorme, hence me giving him the second round. The third round, pretty good start, especially with some hooks from Delorme, but the jab and right hand, and then the body work as well started piling up. So I did like what I saw out of James in the third round. Fourth round, the better shot, close round, but the better shot I thought was Delorme. Better shots James for the fifth round. Sixth round, the last minute, there was probably 17 or 20 punches that landed, maybe not in a row. Maybe he threw 30 of them and landed 17 or 20 of them. I don't know, but he landed that sixth round. He was putting it on him, dude, and that's where I thought, okay, he's really looking good here, and he's confident, So although 7th and 8th round was fairly close, sticking, jabbing, moving, that's really what I saw. Then he started unloading right hands down the stretch. Jamal came out. I had it 8-4, I believe. I saw some folks going 7-5, some 9-3. So I'm in favor with either of those. I think 8-4, 7-5. I don't know if I saw 9-3 per se, but I'm also scoring it a little bit differently because I have an emotional investment in this one. And I was honest, last week about my prediction segment on this. It was tough, man. And when you're that emotionally tied to something, usually when I'm not, I could bet and just be fine with it. And I tell her, hey, I think he's going to win or she's going to win, whatever. But I was just honest last week while I was going through the preview and the prediction because I just didn't quite know. I mean, if you look at it, I know that they closed pretty much the same it was last Wednesday. They closed on that Fox odds little, what is it? Is it just Bet Fox or something like that? I don't know, but they did show the odds. But when you look at the way the odds closed, it was pretty impressive. It was basically a 50-50 fight by the time, from what I saw on some of the odds. I even saw someone have here it is, on August 6th, I believe it was, Jamal James minus 125, Tomas Delorme minus 111. This was from ProBoxingOdds.com. So, it was basically a 50-50. And could James stay on point the whole freaking time or most of it? That was what I just didn't know, because we really hadn't seen that in quite some time, especially against this level of opposition. James really started pulling away, like I mentioned. 204 landing to 150 or 115. They both threw over combined 1,500. 772 to 771, 26% to 15. And like I said, both of them actually put in a really good body display. Pause. But I thought James, with those whipping right hands, and left hands too, looked pretty damn good, man. He looked good. I was just really happy. Really, really happy. And he used his height. He used his boxing skills. Sure, there was times where, the upper body movement really came out as well. He kind of used, what he has all purpose. He didn't sit there and just try to get in to a big brawl. Like I said, I wonder if that Armory fan base, when he gets back home, I wonder if that will do something, to him, like mentally. Like, I got hit, all right, I'm going to give it right back to him. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But the scorecards read, 115, 113, 116, 112, and 117, 111. It peaked at, I think the main event averaged over 1 million. I saw 1.1, but I think they're rounding up. It did peak at 1.2. I didn't think that this would do some kind of great rating, and it didn't. It was going against NBA and actually a major golf tournament that got at. I just looked at the ratings not long ago, and that actually got like a 6.3 million or something like that on ESPN. But that was on regular TV. Just on free TV, they had golf, hockey. I'm sure there was some baseball on, across the channels in the NBA. So, most things are down. If you look at the NHL, they didn't do some kind of great rating either. But it's not that big of a surprise. I always like those to at least go over 1 million in the main event, at least, I think it averaged 880,000 for the 3-hour card. And it peaked at 1.2. So not a big surprise there. But like I said, I'm just glad that it went over 1 million. That's something that you need to accomplish every time you're on Fox, obviously. But it is a work in progress right now, like we talked about. We're gonna have to. I think last week we're gonna have to build back, some of this. And so many. If you look at, there's this stat that I'll get to when I'm talking fight news and boxing Twitter and stuff. But if you look at like the top programs right now, it's basically news because obviously a lot of people tuning in. We have a presidential election, that's one, and obviously the coronavirus. That's such a big thing. People want to be updated, that type of thing. Or like Showtime overall, their numbers are up a little bit. I think they're what was it? I think it was 384,000 was their average for prime time. So they're actually up like 16% or something like that. But a lot of stuff is down. So, just a build back thing. But at least it was a good fight. It was that mid-level fight that I've been talking about. And there's even levels of mid-level fights, right? I mean, we had Eggington and Cheeseman last week. That was a damn good scrap. So it was a good fight. And like I said, we'll see what the ratings do. They're, what was it, 2 right hooks and like a roundhouse shot that Vito Melnecki. I'm pretty sure that was what did it in the second round on that undercard. I suppose it was after the fights. Instead of the prelims, they're doing it after, which I don't mind. But there was some actually interesting fights on there. But yeah, Vito took care of business, looked pretty good. He's obviously a work in progress at 18, but he looked pretty good in that fight. What else we got? Oh, yeah, we have the heavyweight fight, Michael Coffey and Luis Pena. 6-0, 9-0, so you got unbeaten prospects, although Coffey is he's 34, so the prospect thing, he's going to have to move fairly well. Didn't they say on the broadcast when they weren't arguing with each other that he went to Iraq, I know that, but wasn't he Wilder? That's who he was. He's been in like 3 or 4 camps of Wilder. Dude, what did they say, 6'4", 6'5", 275, and put together too. Put together. He definitely put together. Now the age thing is a factor, no doubt. Like I said, he was a veteran. I think he went to the Iraq War, so we'll see how his body holds up. Obviously, he hasn't taken a bunch of punishment, but I'm assuming he'll be fast-tracked to an extent. I had him split the first 2 rounds. Pena at times, and especially in this round, would trap Coffey on the ropes, and he kind of gets he did pretty well on the ropes and get some good busy work in there. From time to time, though, these guys landed some good exchanges. He came out just using that jab, mostly landed like a decent hook and like 1 uppercut or something like that to Coffey. So I had him split, and then I don't think no more rounds for Pena. The counter left hand was a knockdown, probably 20 seconds into the 3rd round by Coffey. Just landed a steady jab, some good fun inside work, give and take on the inside, enough obviously to win that 10-8 in the 3rd. Then it looked like Coffey got a little bit more, okay, instead of being on the ropes, I'm going to actually push forward a little bit, and he landed his jab. He landed some short hooks on the inside. He does like that uppercut, you can tell. But it was competitive late in that round. They were in the corner, right, in the 5th round, and just a really hard flush jab snapped the neck of Pena. And then I think in an exchange, a left hook dropped him and hurt him really, really bad. I shouldn't say really, really bad, but he looked pretty bad, man. The snap neck and then the left hook. And to give Pena credit, he landed a good shot, and he actually blocked that first hook with his arm by Coffey, but the left hook exchange clearly, Pena landed really solid, but clearly Coffey got the better of him. He did manage to get up, though, landed like a really good body shot and like a left hook, and the ref came in there, TKO, called the fight off. He was like, no, we're good, we're done. But otherwise, a good performance. He looks, when you hear F.A. Ajaba go to Top Rank, which is a really good, I think it's a pretty good signing for them. Prospect guy that is trying to get into contender range. I think he was with Schaefer in Shelly Finkel, right? I don't think he actually was a Heyman guy. I thought he was a Heyman guy, but I don't think he was. I actually don't think he was. Now that this happened, but I could be wrong. But either way, the contract was up. He went with Jay Prince, and obviously Tyson Fury and some other fighters over there. We'll see. But I think this Coffey can fill in a little bit like that. Obviously, like I said, we don't know his ceiling, but he's 34. So, but to be that big and put together, to me, it's hard not to be impressed by that. Fox and Santa Maria fought, and that was a good fight. By the way, that heavyweight fight was very entertaining too. I thought it was a good fight. My nephews liked it too. We watched it. It was good. It was a good fight, but this one I thought was really, really fun. Santa Maria actually landed a right hand and then I think a left hook and another left hook, and it knocked Fox to the point where he needed to be held up by the rope, so he scored an early knockdown. Good back and forth in the second round. I thought Santa Maria still did it, though. Good enough. I did give Fox the third round with those looping shots and hard straight left hands. I thought he did pretty damn good there. Fourth round, Santa Maria. And then there were a couple of swing rounds. The fifth round was close. I gave the sixth round to Fox. Some short inside punches that he landed. I gave the sixth, seventh, and eighth actually to Fox. Now that I'm seeing in my scorecards, that jab and left hand was really good. The ninth round, though, I thought some short inside shots as well. Lead lands. He landed some leads in there in the ninth and in the 10th. So I had him, Santa Maria beating him 6-4. 170 to 171 was the punch rate. And they were like tied a lot of ways. Now, I don't get caught up in the exact CompuBox number. I always, for the most part, think that they don't really calculate body shots correctly, or enough of them, in my opinion. But still, though, it's kind of crazy to have them both land about the same shots. I had it 6-4, like I said. It was 129 to 129 after 8, so that's always kind of fun. So, but it was a good fight. I thought it was a fun fight to watch. So I enjoyed really pretty much the whole card. I really did. I thought it was pretty well done. Good action fights. Like I said, was there just just this super important fight on here? Yeah, to the fighters, but no, there was nothing that just blew you away off that. By the way, the judges were kind of all over the place on that one. 99 to 90, 97 to 92, and 96, 93 for Santa Maria, which it was. What was it, Luke? I think that was his. I think it was Luke. And they both threw a lot. Fox was a little busier at 806 to 668, but I mean, that shit was fun, man. That was a lot of fun. Fox landed the better jab, but considering it was only 25-4, but he threw 205, so that's not really that great of jab numbers, I guess you could say, right? But either way, I thought it was a really fun. It was a good card. Like, if you look at the Fox and the FS1, I mean, there wasn't much in the Vito fight, but the one I just went over in that heavyweight fight, I thought was very interesting, very intriguing. Of course, the Morel fight was fairly one-sided after a while, but it took a long time for that. Same with Delorme. So, to me, I enjoyed the card overall. I thought it was a really good card. What is that, 6 fights in? I mean, in one little quick knockout. So we had 2 knockouts, and most of them going the distance. So I liked what I saw. Let's put it that way. Pretty damn good action, just in general, I thought. Let's see here. I got a little. Okay. Let's see here. Like I said, I tried to watch that damn Harper and Jonas fight, but something's up with my zone right now. I don't know what it is. I re-upped, and I for the most part have been able to watch the fights. But I think it was it the Golden Boy card that I had a little issue? I can't remember, but I feel like it was another women's fight. Anyway, I will go back and check that out, though, because I did hear that it was a draw. So at some point, I'm going to have to go back and check that out. But, yeah, I just couldn't quite get it to work, man. It kept, like, jumping ahead to the end of the round or, like, 40 seconds left in the round. It was like, well, we were at the 2:30 mark, so what happened? So I wasn't going to sit there and score that. But overall, it was a pretty fun weekend for fights. And like I said, now you just have that feel, whether it's boxing news, right? There's boxing news coming out where you're like, oh, that's a good fight. Okay, yeah. Or hopefully that gets figured out or whatever. But to me, it's just nice, you know, for obvious reasons, right? It is nice, though. I got to admit, it is really nice just to be like this weekend. I mean, there's a grip of fights, dude. I'm not saying there's not even that many great fights, but it just feels like normal. By the way, we might as well start kind of previewing the weekend schedule. And there is 50 minutes left of the live stream. The number to dial is 646-381-4990. That's 646-381-4990. I think we'll go into archive time. If anyone, you know, beyond the regulars, I see you, Portland. If you want to press 1 and join in the conversation, that's cool. If you're just listening, that's cool too, of course. We do have from Yorkshire, England, on ESPN Plus. This is tomorrow, by the way. Jonah Carroll against Maxie Hughes. And I don't really remember. I know the name, but I just can't. I can't think of Maxie Hughes in my head right now. But either way, that is tomorrow. And then what would this be? Friday? Let me check just to double check here. Yeah, Friday. So Friday we have what should be, and here's a perfect example of the Commonwealth middleweight belt. It's a mid-level fight that could, you know, produce some good stuff. This one's from Eddie Hearn's backyard there in Essex, in Brentwood, England. Sky Sports DAZN. Felix Cash and Jason Wellborn. Jason Wellborn was a guy who looked pretty good for those opening rounds against Jared Hurd when he was like trying to do like the rope-a-dope or like the shoulder roll rope-a-dope. I don't know what the hell he was doing. But then he said, I'm getting sick of this. I don't look that good. I'm going to get him out of here. And that's exactly what he did. But, you know, I think that could be interesting. That could be interesting. Telemundo has a card that same night. Ricardo Espinoza Franco against Brandon Valdez. Carl Frampton fighting someone I don't believe I've seen fighting. You know, as a late replacement. The fight he was going to have wasn't that good, but then it's whatever. And this is Saturday on ESPN Plus, by the way. Michael Conlon returns to action as well. Patty Donovan on the undercard. I saw someone just a little bit ago talking about him. DAZN, we'll keep it DAZN. Cecilia Brickhouse against Jessica McCaskill. And this is for the whole kit and caboodle. WBC, WBA, WBO, and the IBF at welterweight. Also, Madrimov against Eric Walker. You know, I think that's on the undercard. Let me double check on the. Did they talking about it? Another WBA special, and it does look like as of yesterday. So Walker, Madrimov, I think that's how you say it, right? WBA title eliminator. So, you know, it gets them close to stuff. You know how that goes. It's the WBA. Like I said, I'm not going to sit there and rip one person and not rip the other, but you know, different fights and whatnot. But you know, the women's fight, man, from Tulsa, I believe it is. Now, Martinez was supposed to fight. Who was it? McJoe, was it Arroyo? One of the brothers. And that got canceled, unfortunately. But this could be an interesting fight, man. I'm pretty much looking forward to this. I know that McCaskill, isn't she coming up in weight a little bit from super middleweight or super lightweight, I should say. I believe she is. I know she's got her trainer Rick Ramos. I saw him talking not that long ago. This is, I'm not going to sit there and say that I've seen her fight a bunch. I've definitely seen, Cecilia, fight more. But I'm always game to, when you got all these titles on the line and whatnot. I'm always game to check it out, man. So I'm not going to sit here and preview and predict and break it down just because I haven't seen, one of the sides as much. This could be interesting. And Madrimov is looks like a damn good fighter for 154. As we know, 154 is super stacked. So I didn't know about this. Boston Boxing Promotions YouTube. Boston Boxing Promos from New Hampshire. There you go. That's on Saturday as well. And then what do we got? Showtime on Saturday. We got David Benavidez returning from his late September last year fight with Durrell against Romar Angulo. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is some kind of, this is going to be it could be a barn burner. That's really what I'm hoping, to be honest with you. I'm not, Benavidez, basically, through injuries and the cocaine, it kind of just, things got a little messed up. Actually, when I say injury, his opponent, Yildirim, didn't get injured. He had a false positive or like a positive test that turned into you're okay. You know how that works sometimes. I don't know. I'm hoping that this will just be a fun fight. I think that's a weird way to put it, but I really hope that it's just, just a good fight, good TV fight. That's what it seems like to me, and it's a big spot for Romero. What is he? I think he's Colombian. His last fight earlier this year, he won. It was either a majority decision, maybe it was majority. I don't know if there was a draw in there. It could have been a split. Either way, Anthony Sims was the unbeaten fighter prospect. He did beat him. He has beaten some other undefeated guys. Nothing that stands out too much. Gilberto Ramirez, took care of him fairly easy on that route. So it's one of those things that it got, I think did it get called? Or was it, no, this was just a stay busy fight. But Yildirim got the WBC to, make sure he's mandated next. So that, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It kind of sucks that we got to wait for this stuff. But that's, that's how the belt system works sometimes. And to be fair, I did think Yildirim was winning that fight against Durrell, and that's actually how it all comes back, to this. They gave him the okay to be able to get it. And so, it is what it is. Now, I do remember, I think I had it like 9-3 or 10-2 or something like that, him and Ramirez. Gilberto Ramirez and did I just skip there? Sorry. Angulo and Gilberto Ramirez. The scorecards were like, I remember them being wide, but it actually was it was a clear-cut victory. It was a victory, but to me, there was some moments where, it was a little bit more difficult and harder of a fight than the scores would, indicate. So, I do think he's going to win, maybe by TKO. And that's kind of his style, Benavidez. Benavidez does get hit a lot, though. He just kind of wears you down, right? With, body work and just combination punching and all that. So he's definitely known for that. So I just think it'll be an entertaining TV fight. That's really what I think. Benavidez will win by decision, possibly a TKO. Otto Wallin is now with the PBC. He's fighting Travis Kaufman, a 10-round heavyweight fight. Kaufman is a somewhat game fighter. I remember most people thought he beat Areola a couple of years ago. I want to say that was what card was that on? Was that on the Figueroa DeMarco? I think it is. But Kaufman, he fought Ortiz, did okay, was sturdy and stuff like that. But Otto Wallin, he overachieved last summer. Almost had Fury, stopped on a cut anyway. And I like it. It's like, all right, dude, this is like kind of although Kaufman's been around a lot longer, but this is a crossroads fight. It's fringe contenders right now. And Otto Wallin against the top guy did prove his worth. So I actually like it a lot. If it wasn't for some kind of vacant WBA special in the co-feature, I actually thought this was going to be the co-feature. But Rolando, I think is his real name, and Jackson Morenez are going to fight for, a vacant interim WBA special, whatever. But I'm interested in this fight. You got a prospect, you got two prospects, and Romero's a guy who he wasn't like in boxing since he was 8 years old or whatever. And, he's been in the Mayweather gym. It's a good test for him. And, we hear all the stories about, Rolly, he's a funny dude, I'll say that. And if he can live up to some of his trash talk, he could be a really fun fighter to watch. He comes to fight, he's in shape. It'll be interesting to see, what he's picked up in the Mayweather gym, just in general. We know Floyd in the last chunk of months, especially chunk of months. That was kind of weird. We know he's been in the gym a lot more, and he's been running and all that. And hopefully this isn't just because he's fighting somebody. Hopefully this is what Floyd's going to do for the next 20 years or something like that. I've said that before. I do want him in the gym, man. I think it's really good for the sport, being a trainer and just having attention on his fighters or guys that beat his fighters. So maybe they can piggyback off it and ended up beating them. So I like this card as far as the effect or mid-level fight in Wallin and Kaufman. And like I said, Angulo is a good fighter. I've seen, I think, 3 of his fights. But and he did do something against, like I said, Gilberto. He won some rounds. And that's kind of what I'm expecting to win. Maybe 2 to 3 rounds, but it's fun while we get there. So I think I already said I got Rolly too. And I'm going to go with Otto Wallin. I'm not sure where Kaufman is, if he's kind of on the downslope right now. He has had some breaks in his career. So we'll see how that chimes out. But anyway, that about does it for the schedule. I mean, that's a busy damn schedule. Starting tomorrow, 2 or 3 ESPN cards? ESPN Plus, whatever. And then DAZN has 2 or 3. So, and then of course Showtime. So there is not going to be much time to breathe for boxing fans. So this weekend. So let's hope these are good fights. You know what I mean? Like I said, the women's fight stands out. The brightest. I think that's safe to say. But I don't know, man. It's going to be a good weekend. I think that we'll get some really good TV fights. And actually, I wonder what. I haven't checked in a little while. Oh, yeah, okay. McCaskill's actually a plus 350. So it's a sizable underdog. Then again, this was kind of close to, or somewhat close. Maybe not that far. I don't think it was actually. I think it was like plus 275 last week with Harper and Jonas. And look at that, how that fight turned out. So that could be interesting, man. That could be interesting. If there's any other kind of interesting odds here. Frampton is a 16-1. His opponent's plus 1600. It probably should be even more. But I suppose you never know on the late replacement stuff. All right, so that about wraps up that segment. We are going to get into a couple of things. Why don't we actually just kind of, since we were, talking about the weekend and whatnot and talking about fights, it did kind of throw me off. Like I mentioned, that the media was saying, a couple of people, Idick and a couple other folks, said that they were going to announce like all the rest of their fights for the year on Fox, and that threw me off because, like I said, I mean, you're talking about like 17 or 18 fight nights, and you're going to announce all of them, and maybe at least the co-feature, if not some of the triple headers. It didn't really seem like that was actually going to happen. It was like, that seems like a lot, dude. Like, I don't know. And some of these, like even Jamal James, now that he won, I could see there is a December 26th date on Fox, and I could see him. My guess was Keith Thurman last week. That's who my guess is for him. I think they're going to put him in with Keith Thurman. I could be wrong, obviously, but I have that feeling. I haven't been hurt, to be honest with you. I haven't heard a lot of things. This, the pandemic's kind of slowed things down, plus some of the inside information I get minorly anyway, locally, just not there because they're not selling a fight here locally. So I don't get the texts and emails as much right now. But that's just what I'm guessing. Maybe it's the WBA thing. I don't know. It's a big fight for him. He made, what'd they say, $200,000. $200,000. I don't know if there's more or not. I have no clue, but that's what it was reported. So could that get him up to $400,000 or $500,000 to fight Thurman in a main event of Fox? I don't know. Or will they say, hey, now he's got this secondary belt, let's move James against just quality guys and then have a step up? I know Thurman needs a return fight, and I know he's been talking about he wants Pacquiao and all that. But I think that he wouldn't mind coming back against. I mean, remember the Jose Cito Lopez fight? Some people shit on that. Some people are like, oh, that's a good comeback fight. He hadn't been back for, almost 2 years. So, that's just my guess. But I was kind of like we knew Spence and Danny Garcia, November 21st. We knew that was already going to happen. So there wasn't a big surprise there. But they did release a lot of dates and times. Well, maybe not times, but I did kind of like that part of it because it gives you a little feel for it. Obviously, college football with the Pac-12 or the Big Ten said, nah, we're done. We're not doing it. We're going to look towards the spring for college football. I believe the Pac-12, followed. I know the Mountain West did as well, but that's not Power 5. Now the ACC, Big 12, and SEC have kind of kicked the can down the road and just kind of let's just wait, So my point is, Fox, you never know. Maybe they'll have some of these Wednesdays will turn into a Saturday or something like that. I don't know. I doubt they're just going to give them a bunch of Fox cards, and not only that, but you got to remember the MLB will be in the playoffs, I suppose it is 2 months or whatever, but because it's 60 days, 60 games, right? So I think it starts in October. Mr. October is what they always say for Derek Jeter, but for a lot of folks, because, that's how you get big and that's how you prove yourself as a player ultimately is in the playoffs. So I know that Fox is going to have a lot of that, and I wouldn't doubt if Fox gets instead. I don't know. I really don't know. It's really weird because all of a sudden the Big Ten in the Pac-12 are done. And those are the two networks that are normally on Fox. That's not like Fox primetime Saturday night. Now, that's not to say that the Big 12 doesn't get some, and all that, but that'll be interesting. Anyway, kind of got sidetracked there. Here's a perfect example. So 2 out of the 3 main events on Fox in the next couple of weeks seem to be just stay busy fights. They're clearly, it looks like they're angling or getting ready to put somebody in there with a bigger fight. Sean Porter, Sebastian Formella. He's German, but he sounds Italian. Formella. No, okay, I'm sorry. He is German, right? Is everybody named Sebastian in Germany? I'm just kidding. That's a joke, Germany. I'm just kidding. I'm half German myself, okay? Anyway, this is actually the WBC IBF welterweight title eliminator, which I think it's goofy. And here we are. This has nothing to do with the WBA, but the WBC and the IBF have a welterweight title eliminator and Formella is involved. What is he, the IBO? That's what it is. He's the IBO. Either way, it's a stay busy fight. I think I already gave my take on this. Porter is coming off. Danny Garcia, Ugas, Spence. I'm okay with him getting a showcase. Now, the undercards for the first 2 boxes, I'm interested in. Speaking of Sebastian, Fundora and Nathan Gallimore. I really like that fight. I guess Joey Spencer's on the card too. That he doesn't have an opponent, but I really the Towering Inferno against Gallimore. I think it's good. They're really like saying, "Hey, Gallimore, we're getting an opportunity, but also Fundora, he might get beaten this one. I don't know." But then you got Arislani Lara versus Greg Daddy, another guy I've never seen this. I haven't seen his fight, but I may have. The name sounds familiar, like unboxing scene or something. You just see a name. That's mostly what I've seen on Formella. I did watch some highlights of him, but once again, so Lara hasn't fought actually in about a year. He fought here against Canelo's brother, but he had gone from Hurd to Castano, that draw. So I didn't mind that. He's been off for a year, but it does kind of tell me, well, it's for a WBA special, but it does kind of tell me that they're going to line him up for something. But Alfredo Angulo against Caleb Truax, once again, I like that fight. It's a crossroads fight. Both guys are on the, their careers winding down. Whoever wins this is probably going to get Caleb Plant because I just mentioned Benavidez has this fight and then Yildirim and then boom, so hopefully somewhat early. Well, I don't know. I won't even get into it. I was going to say somewhat early 2021, but who knows? Now, I like this main event for Fox, the Ugas and Ramos, Yordenis Ugas and Abel Ramos. I like that fight. Ramos is a good quality fighter, especially when he gets a full camp. Some of these guys don't get full camps to show everything that they're worth. I like this fight. That's a good fight. I wouldn't say it's just a showcase fight. I've heard some people say that. I disagree. I think Ugas is going to have to work for this. It's a good fight. I like this fight. We already knew about that fight, though. Jesus Romas, we don't know, but this one's kind of interesting. Bartholomew against Puello. Alberto Puello and Rancis Bartholomew at 140. That could be a really interesting fight, man. Bartholomew is so hit or miss. Sometimes he'll come and be like, dude, that was a great fight. Other times it's like, oh, boy. That could be a good fight. I'm kind of interested in that fight. So a lot of it is the co-features, to be honest with you. 2 out of the 3 main events for Fox doesn't really seem like there's much there. It seems like they're kind of just saying, hey, the budget's low, the marketing's low. Let's just get these guys on TV, try to salvage some of the ratings because at least Porter's hot right now, yada, yada, yada. Now, so, November 7th, there is going to be a Fox, and then because this is where after that, come September, October, that's when baseball takes over. So for Fox anyway, in the FS1 to an extent, right? The 26th, the day after Christmas Day, Fox has a show, which I that's kind of interesting. Oh, another thing, that's a Sunday night, September 6th, for Ugas and Ramos. So that's kind of interesting. I like the Sunday night stuff. What else we got here? And of course, this is all on Fox Deportes too. August 22nd, the PBC posts the Fox card. We'll have an FS1, the undercards. August 29th, same thing. Same thing, Sunday, September 6th. Fox will have probably a triple header on FS1. It precedes the proceeding. Okay. So I wonder what time that's going to be. Let me see if there's a time on. Some of these actually have good times, but I think it just when it starts type thing. Let me see here. Anyway, then some interesting stuff here, and I think this is the way Al Heyman was able to work with Fox and that, well, especially FS1 too, because they had so many cards on FS1 with baseball. So so they're going to do some Wednesday shows, a couple of them. Wednesday, September 23rd. Then there's a Saturday, October 3rd, FS1. Then there's November 4th, FS1 Wednesday. And then Saturday, November 14th, a prime time for FS1. And then it looks like there's going to be prelims November 21st on FS1 for that Spencer Garcia. And then December 5th, another Saturday night fight. And I wonder if some of these were matched behind college football. That's what I'm wondering. God, I hope not, because that would have been nice. And then looks like there's prelims or something for December 26th too. So, couple of fights announced. Like I said, it always kind of threw me for a loop when we kept hearing that they were going to announce all their fights. It just seemed like, how the fuck did you even do that? Coming off of Showtime, which there was a lot of fights. You're talking probably over 20 fights, because there was 8 or 9 nights, and some of them are triple headers and already announced. So I really wasn't expecting it, but that's what the media was, claiming. So we talked about it. But so I'd say hit or miss. 2 out of the 3 main events, I really do like that Ugas Ramos, but then I do like the co-features, and we always say if you're going to have a stay busy name in the main event, you got to give us something to bite on and chew, and be happy with the undercard. So let's hope those fights turn out. Okay, so and also I think some of them, like I mentioned, I wouldn't doubt the November and December. I wouldn't doubt if some of these fights, some of these fights that are happening right now, just like people just fought or are going to fight then in November and December on Fox and FS1. That's what it kind of seems like it's lining up to. That's kind of what I'm piggybacking off the Jamal James. I believe he'll be back in December, but that's just a hunch. Like I said, I have no inside information like I normally do with James locally, but I will find out more. Here's some really good news. Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell is basically a done deal. The purse bid was delayed, and generally speaking, when you have the purse bid delayed, it means you're getting close. And so it does sound like that's a done deal, which I'm very happy about. It sounds like they've agreed in principle. It's either going to be in the U.S. or U.K. Late November. And here's a kicker. Okay, here's the kicker. So the fight is for the WBC interim. So we got a franchise, we got a real deal Haney, even though he got it emailed, and then an interim. The WBC is trying to catch up to the WBA, but either way, it's an intro and is a final eliminator to determine Devin Haney's next Mando. That, I don't know if that'll be true, right? When push comes to shove. But, dude, that's dope. Like I said, I'm just happy Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell's, happening. Do I want to see the winner fight Haney? Hell yeah. Do I think the DAZN is going to have Haney and Garcia fight next? No, I don't. And that's not a rip on the DAZN or anybody, any of these fighters. They're so young. They're the lightweight, plenty of fighters to fight. I just don't see it. But hey, it'll definitely rile some shit up, that's for sure. It'll definitely rile some stuff up because Haney, he's been looking for a big fight. Well, now he can actually call out someone saying, hey, if you guys win, I got the winner, So let's see if you run from it. Maybe he can spark up enough, interest or antagonizing, these guys on Twitter like he did with that duck post. That was kind of funny. Either way, though, like I said, I'm not looking towards that. I'm just happy that this is actually happening, dude. That is really, really good. Regis Prograis and Ludabella have split ways. They are done, and Regis Prograis is a agent. I think he had one fight on his deal, if I remember correctly. And a lot of people are like, hey, where's he going to end up? Where is Prograis going to end up? And that's a good question. Obviously, if it's 140, you think Top Rank is a good place to go, I would say, on that. Not to say he couldn't sign something with DAZN either, but it does seem like that's a good place to be. If he's going to be at 140 for just a little bit, maybe, just maybe, he could sign with the PBC if he's planning on, going to 147. Obviously, if you're going to 147 and you want a lot of opportunity, PBC is the place to go. 140, you have Ramirez right there, right? You have a connection right there with, they obviously have. I mean, Ramirez has to get by Paul Stahl, obviously. And then Taylor. Josh Taylor has a fight he should win, too. So, the only thing I'll say is, because actually I got a little bit of news on this, they were talking about maybe December is when they could get that unification fight going between Taylor and Ramirez. Well, the fact that Crawford is in his contract for a long time with Top Rank, meaning, he's probably not going to get the top, a bunch of top guys like he hasn't already, right? He's probably not going to get the package fight, but maybe he will. Maybe he will. But, Bob Arum actually on this IFL TV interview that I listened to today, he said that they're targeting December for that Taylor Ramirez undisputed. Arum added that it could happen in the UK if the crowds are allowed. So that's interesting. My point is, whoever wins that, and they want Top Rank obviously wants, he's got them both now, doesn't he? But the way they moved him, and Ramirez, obviously it'd be a bigger fight here. But if Taylor won, that'd be a huge fight in the UK too. So if he went up and faced, Crawford. So, but you got to figure if Ramirez loses, they're not going to put him right in with Prograis, and you're probably not going to put Taylor right back with Prograis because then you're probably either going to have a rematch or you're going to move him someplace else. So my point is, 140, although that's the place to be, If you're staying at 140 for Prograis, go to Top Rank. Or I guess DAZN if they throw a bunch of money at you, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen right now. So that would be, that'd be a good look. That'd be a good look for him. And I don't know if you're going to go free agent because Bob and free agents, or even if you have if it's like a co-promotion, he's been known, and a lot of promoters have been known to do this, but if they don't have they don't own your rights outright, it just doesn't seem like they push as hard for you. I mean, it's not always that case. That's for sure. But, I don't know. It would suck to get over the Top Rank, and then you just get some pretty good fights, but not that much, whereas you could go to, if you wanted to go to 47, you could get, in the next 3 to 4 years, you can get just as much money, if not more, probably more, because if you be fighting these bigger names, either way, I think 140 Top Rank, like I said, and then PBC 147. Now, there is some rumors, and I'll get to it in just a little bit. Actually, I'll do that on my Fight News little segment with my Twitter, because I can't find it right now. But there is some thought process there that he's actually already in talks with somebody for the card. So that might be interesting. We'll see. Oh, here it is. So, and by the way, I forgot, but at 140, not 135, but at 140, Broner's there too. And so if you said, let's see, this is actually from Mannix. He said there has been some discussions about a fight between Prograis and Juan Heraldez. If Prograis beats him, a future opponent could be Adrian Broner. And I think Broner and Prograis is actually a good fight, especially at 140. Obviously, that's a key. So, and they've been kind of getting after each other too, so that could be interesting. Anyway, okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this topic. I'll just fully admit it. I'll fully say it, okay? Because you get sick of topics after a while, okay? Teofimo Lopez, Lomachenko, we know all that stuff. I had to talk about it. I had a segment last week. I probably had a segment a month ago, too. Who knows? And, it was kind of shocking that they hadn't offered the fight until late June or July or whatever. I think it was late July. So that kind of was like, that's kind of weird. But literally, Teofimo Lopez said they never even, not only just offered, right? That's a problem because looking at the dates, the thing that I have a problem with is, and I believe I said this, is so the pandemic hit in the third week of March here, where we actually started, shutting shit down that week. And if you look at it, you're looking at 2 months in May 30th, which is what they said. I remember them talking about May 9th and May 16th maybe, but May 30th is the one that they, for the date, for Loma and Lopez, that's the one they kind of were talking about. And they had segments about unboxing not unboxing, but, on Max's show and also during broadcast. And then this summer, in June and July, they talked about this fight too. And so you got dates and shit. You said this fight's going to happen, but you haven't even offered either guy, or at least you for sure didn't offer Lopez, which is pretty crazy. So right around the time when the tickets should be going on sale, you still haven't offered Lopez. But you're throwing out May 30th on ESPN. It's a little like, what the fuck is that all about? But he wasn't offered, so he was not even told what he would have made with a normal gate. And that gate would have done probably, well over $1 million. Could it get to $2 million? Maybe. I don't know. But it's crazy. So this is actually from BoxingScene.com. This was a few days back, August 8th. split team management. That's the head. David McWater is the head. And it says, he's stuck in a hardball negotiations with Top Rank. At the moment, we know the 1.25 in the excess of 3.5 million. Obviously, Lopez, the smaller one, he's balking at it, like it says here. And we remember hearing about from Teofimo's side that it was actually, and I mentioned this too, that it was actually Loma that was looking for more money at the time, and they had to kind of figure him out first, and then they went to Lopez, which is perfectly okay. But listen to this here. Team Lopez signed off on Lomachenko fight immediately after the demolished Richard Colby in 2 rounds in December. But once Top Rank came back with an offer the first time last week, the brakes were immediately pumped. They never gave us a financial number before the pandemic. Never once. They never discussed it for this fight, period. No matter how much I asked until July 28th, you can bet I asked hundreds of times over the course of the year. That's pretty crazy. Like I said, May 30th. So 2 months before the fucking fight is gone, and you haven't even offered them. And that's when they were talking pay-per-view. Either way, you'd have the live gate. You know what I mean? And you'd probably have even more money from ESPN potentially. Maybe it'd be on ESPN Plus. They were kind of throwing it around. They said pay-per-view right away, but they were throwing around ESPN Plus. But so you never even gave them the financial number, the finances on what you would have made if it was pay-per-view. And what did I say last week? I actually caught some flack for this, or flack. PJ Fleck. I just watched an interview with him. I got some flack because they're like, he should just take it and all that. And I get that. But my sticking point, I got some flack for being on the fence, which that's cool. No big deal. I get it. Generally, I don't just reside on the fence. But I need to know. It's hard for me to say 1.25 is a good to go for Teofimo if I don't even know what he was going to get before the pandemic. Because they said that, that Loma took less than he was going to get before the pandemic, which that's cool. Now they made it, Bob's made it very known that these guys are getting their guarantees, but, it's really shady to not give a number of what you would have made. And meanwhile, you got Bob Arum just one-siding Teofimo, like, hey, if you don't want it, you can fucking fight for $300,000, that type of thing. And it's like, well, I understand what he's talking about in some of this stuff, and I understand the people that say, hey, just grab it, 1.25, just take it, and that number might be great. Maybe 1.5 and he'll take it. I don't know, but you got to at least know. We always hear about Al Heyman. Did Al Heyman actually tell somebody about the offer or not? When we heard Eddie Hearn or, somebody call Danny Garcia's dad instead of Heyman and say, well, we told him because we wanted to make sure he saw it. Well, if you don't know the number you were going to get on the pay-per-view and before the pandemic with the live crowd and all that, that's bullshit. I want to see the fight. I'm not taking sides, but, dude, seriously? They never gave you the number? Here we go. I'd be hard-pressed to describe negotiations. I haven't heard from Top Rank in over a week. They are talking to the press instead of me, which is always bad. It's one thing if you've already negotiated and you bumped up a little bit, you met him halfway, and then it's like take it or leave it. But to put out a take it or leave it offer without knowing what they would have made, it's just like that's some bullshit, dude. And that's just unprofessional, period. Even for boxing. Top Rank knows where I am. They can call me 24 hours a day. There's been very little effort from their side to get it done. We're hoping ESPN or somebody rides up in a white hat and makes this fight. The total pot seems to be $4.7 million, and we're going to need more than they're offering. We've been open and fair about this. We'll continue. I just wanted to reciprocate. We think that Loma, deserves more money. He's not looking for a 50-50. but not 3 times the money. We're hoping that there's enough to get the fight done, blah, blah, blah. It's sunshines and rainbows. They offered an appropriate amount of money, and he accepted it in 5 minutes. Unfortunately, it didn't leave any money for us. And, he said everyone's losing a lot of money, but guys are still getting good purses in the Vegas bubble for lesser fights. If it's one of the most anticipated fights of the year, why are we being offered barely more than the previous Lomachenko opponents? It just doesn't seem correct. He strongly believes it should exceed past 1.25, especially since Top Rank opened up and paid Shakur Stevenson a minimum of $400,000 in a mismatch. If you look at Jorge Linares, 1.2, Pedraza got $1 million, but I don't know. To me, that's some shaky shit, dude. That is some shaky shit to not tell the guy or gal what he would make in a normal setting. Instead of going around in the media and say, hey, look, he acts like there's going to be a $3 million gate. There's no gate. It's like, dude, he's not saying that, though. And how would he even know what you guys budgeted it for? I mean, doesn't some of this? Well, no, I suppose it's not Ali Act because this is clearly what money they have to do it. So, and they have told people what, Loma's making, but that's why I wanted to know last week. That's why I was on the fence for those. I don't call that being critical. I think that's a fair thing, but that's the only reason why. For those who came at me a little bit, that's cool. But I was on the fence because I didn't know what he was going to make. It's hard to judge what someone should get or shouldn't get when you don't know. You don't know what they were getting. So how the hell can you make a legit, statement on it and really, it'd be actually like close to correct or whatever, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. It is what it is. But I just hope that they figure it out. I kind of feel like there's going to be, some, I'm not going to say extra zeros, but I think there'll be a few $100,000, $200,000, 2, 3, 4, whatever. I think they'll come out in this, but it's just so funny, dude. Like the media just lets Bob do almost whatever the fuck he wants to do, and of course Bob's gonna do what the hell he wants to do. Eddie too, but at least be honest about it. Like, hey, dude, 125 is a damn good money, no doubt about it. But you should know what you were gonna get. Portland 503. First of all, what's going on, dude? If you are ready, let me know. Okay? You got some time here. If you need like 20 minutes, that's cool. I can give you it. If you're ready to go in the next couple of minutes, that's perfect too. It's totally up to you. Okay? Just don't hang up because there's less than 3 minutes left of the live stream. By the way, if you're listening live right now, via Blog Talk, 646-381-4990 is the number to call. You can listen to the show live in this last little bit of archive, or chunk of archive, I should say. I do have some more, fight news to get to, and also some Twitter stuff, some boxing Twitter stuff, okay? And don't worry, guys. I know a lot of people like to see the glaze get glazed. There is something in here that is just perfectly him. Just perfectly him. By the way, and I'll just kind of, as Portland's getting back to me, I'll kind of just breeze through some of this boxing news as well as we get to, like I said, the Twitter thing. Hey, here's kind of an interesting point here. For Fox and FS1, for college football, or for their, for Big Ten, I should say. So, this is sports, actually, this is not Sports Journal, But Fox and FS1 last year raked in $98.3 million in sales with their slate of Big Ten matchups. So that means something. And I'm talking about that because obviously, they canceled their season for now. Here's Klimas on the other side. To me, if you don't want the fight the easiest way in boxing, I got you, Portland. 3 minutes. To me, if you don't want the fight the easiest way in boxing is say there's not enough money. I am confident at all, or I am not confident at all due to what's happening with their team. I can't be confident, especially during the pandemic. I am not confident for any fight until they walk in the ring. Maybe we'll fight Verdejo, and they are actually throwing that out there, that it will be Verdejo if this fight does not happen. The contract was offered then is already more than double his highest purse, and that's fair. That is a fair. They were talking about numbers based off a $3 million gate in closed circuit. It's crazy. That's what Lomachenko said. And he also, or not, I'm sorry, that's what Bob Arum said. Loma has a contract and he's already given us relief. He's fighting for less. But man, if his contract's $4 million a fight, wow. I shouldn't be surprised, but it's still kind of goofy how many people don't understand the exact reason why Paulie got fired. I've seen it a bunch, and I just don't I just don't understand how you guys don't like. I get the fact that freedom of speech. I get all that, and you can be offended by what he said or not or whatever. But the fact, like, I understand the people that say, well, even if you work for a corporation, you should be able to say whatever you want. That's cool. If that's the angle you're taking, cool. But I take the reality angle. And like I said, I can't go bad talk. I can't just go randomly say a bunch of shit on Twitter either on my job. And I sure as hell, not that he was talking about Showtime, but I sure as hell can't. I've already signed the contract saying I can't rip the bar I work at, online. It's becoming more and more of a thing. And like I said last week, when you have that many black and Hispanic fighters and you say, oppression doesn't happen in the 2000s, it's just ignorant. Now, here's Paulie Malignaggi. I think Gabriel Montoya, I'm pretty sure I think he tweeted this, but there's this thing, there's a shot, it's like a Facebook, it's Instagram. There's a shot above that usually it's on, like Black Lives Matter has been written on streets and stuff like that. Well, there's a post that says, get a fucking job. It's from Italian Parking Only. Get a fucking job, which is always so stupid to say. It's like, Ronald Reagan and Nixon, go get a job. It's like, go fuck yourself, dude. A lot of people have jobs that fucking protest. I don't care what you're protesting. I'm never going to say go get a job to a protester. I think that's the stupidest stuff. But anyway, this is what the post says. Fuck your movement and get a fucking job. And it says hashtag homeless, hashtag jobless, hashtag get a job, hashtag lazy ass, of course, hashtag MAGA, hashtag Trump, but hashtag America with KKK in it. Hashtag America like Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted spelling with the triple K's in there. And he liked the picture. Now, maybe he wasn't looking at the triple K's. That's on him. Whatever. I don't give a shit. It is what it is. But come on, dude. Like, that just shows you him. That just shows you him. You know what I mean? That's just him in a nutshell, dude. But, it is what it is. I just think it's funny that people totally ignore what he actually would get fired for in that situation. It's pretty stupid. Speaking of ignoring stuff, I think we talked about this. Bob Arum, this is some serious boxing, that Fury and Wilder 3 could be pushed back to 2021. Sounds like there may be something overseas that might have some interest. But he also goes on, and by the way, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones exhibition got pushed back to November 28th, according to, I think I got it from the Ring magazine. It is what it is. But Bob says, basically, screw all the mandatories after the fight. Screw that. Well, we don't need that. We're not gonna worry about that. Oh, here we go. Bob Arum on heavyweight. This is from Talk Sport. Mandatories. If Joshua is successful versus Pulev and Fury is successful versus Wilder, everybody will look at Fury and Joshua as the fight they want to see. They don't care about mandatories, whether it's Usyk or White. That's what he said. Also, real quick, Bob Arum has revealed that talks have now started for Crawford and Kell Brook in the bubble in the MGM. Pacquiao's still first choice, but there's no concrete offer from a different, country to host that. Now, Frank Warren said on Tyson Fury, first of all, he was like, if this fight with Wilder doesn't happen in 2020, we're done with it. That's what he said. But Bob said something different. Frank Warren on Tyson Fury, he ain't fighting White. That ain't happening this year, and next year it ain't going to happen. He wants Joshua. Would we like to see the fight with all the belts? Absolutely. But if the belt's not on the line, who gives a shit? It's the fight everybody wants to see. I agree with that. Maybe, let's say Fury did beat, obviously, Wilder in that scenario. Well, Wilder-White would be a good one for the WBC, wouldn't it? I mean, I'd be down for that. What else we got for fight news here? Shouldn't be long here. It's going to pop on in a second. Oh, Cancio. Andrew Cancio and Saul Rodriguez set for September 12th on ESPN. That's a good fight. I like that fight. That's a solid fight. I think that's an undercard fight. I'll take that fight for sure. That's a good fight. Oops. Hit my damn mic. I think that's about boxing news that I wanted to cover. Oh, here's that interesting stat. Last week's, I can't read that part. Hold on. Last week's 20 most watched shows. Just to give you an example of what people are listening to or seeing, watching. 17 nightly network newscasts. Jesus. 17 nightly network newscasts. PGA Championship final round. CBS Sunday Morning, and America's Got Talent. Last week, that was the top 20. 17 out of the top 20 were news-oriented. So that pretty much tells you anything and everything you got to know about the uphill climb until this shit's over, and you just don't know. All right, I'm going to see if he's ready now. He said he needed 3 minutes. And otherwise, I'm just going to finish it on the boxing Twitter, which we do have. Some of the boxing Twitter, I've heard some complaints like it's not long enough. Well, you can't do it every week, you know what I mean? Like a 10-minute segment. Although the shit is funny. I got a nice healthy segment for you guys tonight. All right, let's bring Portland into the fold to let him say his stuff. All right, I'm going to bring you in. You're live on Rope-A-Dope Radio. What is going on? 503 Portland.
Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero apretad y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del gallón.
Hey, yo, what up, Chris? Doing good, brother, here in beautiful Oregon, you know what I mean? Chilling, ready to talk some boxing, brother. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. I actually just got out. I just got in town last night. was with the family, getting some up northern Minnesota wood stuff going on in the cabin and lake and all that. So I'm refreshed.
Nice.
I did watch that Jamal James and Delorme Fox card up there with my nephews and nieces too, so that was kind of fun. But other than that, man, I'm doing good. Relatively speaking, I'm doing great, man. How the hell are you?
Yeah. Doing good too, bro. Yeah, going out of town this next week into the Indian casinos, checking that out with the family, and yeah, it should be fun, and putting down some bets on some fights, see what's up, you know what I mean, and but yeah, happy to hear you had a good time. But yeah, let's get into this some of this boxing, brother, and a lot has happened. I didn't get to check out, in all honesty, I didn't get to check out your boys' fight, Jamal James. But I'll definitely catch up this weekend, or I mean not this weekend, but tonight or sometime this week for sure. But also too, what else? What do we got this weekend? We got a David Benavidez fight, right? I'm gonna have to catch this. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we got David Benavidez fight going on, man, and I'm definitely gonna have to miss this. Catch it on Sunday, and but man, like I said, man, that's crazy. Showtime is back, man. That's pretty cool. That's pretty nuts, and so this one should be a fun card. I think this was definitely the card of the night, in my opinion, for the weekend. Also here, I don't know I'm not too familiar with the undercard. With the undercard here, what do we got?
Yourself with a dude named Rowley on the undercard. He's out of the Mayweather gym. He's a funny dude, power puncher, but we don't know much of him as a pro just yet.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you bring him up, Rowley, I don't know. I'm not, now that you brought up his name, I'm not. I'm only familiar with the name, not really with his fighting. I'm not sure. Maybe I've seen him a few clips with him and Floyd. He's the young kid, because I really only hear his name on the boxing voice. You know what I mean? That's where I really only hear his name. You know what I mean? Being talked about. And but I do hear. I mean, like any other TMT fighter or anybody that's stuck with Floyd, or I should say anybody that's with Floyd, is going to get that attention. So I'll definitely keep my eye on that dude. But also that other dude, Otto Wallin, that dude's fighting this weekend too. And also he's with the PBC, right? I mean, his last fight was with the King, fucking Tyson Fury. So, and
yeah, he's signed with
but
it's exciting.
Yeah, hell yeah. So this one should be fun. You know who he should have? You know what would have been cool? Travis Hoffman. I'm not. I guess I'm gonna have to look at this dude to remember who he is, bro. But I'm definitely familiar with Otto Wallin.
Somebody beat Areola a couple years back on NBC. He also did okay against Luis Ortiz, to the point where some people said Ortiz was slowing down and stuff like that, but it was more like style. He's a good fighter. It's just he's had a lot of time, like kind of on and off out of the ring. I don't know if that'll affect him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know who would have been cool as a co-feature? The guy that just took out the Polish fighter. Help me out, Chris. Helenius?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have been cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because I think that dude's on. I'm not sure if he's under PBC, but I mean he just did get the fight there and one of a PBC fighter. So, but I'm just saying as a name recognition, I think that would have been cooler. You know what I mean, for a co-main. Because I don't know. Because I mean, in all honesty too, Romero Angulo. I'm not too familiar with this guy, but I got to hear on the Box Voice, the panel, they did a interview with the trainer, I'm drawing a blank, Pedro Diaz, and he's one of his fighters, and so I'm kind of impressed. I mean, I did get to check out some training, a little bit of highlights. He does look good. He looks dangerous. I mean, the guy, I do like Pedro Diaz as a trainer. in all honesty, he's the guy. If you're familiar with him, he used to have Cotto. He used to have other fighters, but but he's actually an excellent trainer because, in all honesty, man, even Floyd is quoted saying he didn't know his name at the time, but I remember him in some interview where he said, where they asked him like, what trainer would you like? Do you consider the best right now, or would you like consider one of the like a best a great trainer? And he said he didn't know his name, but the guy that I remember he also led that he said that the guy that trained Cotto for my fight, I remember that. So so that's in my opinion, I think that's a high respect, from Floyd. So. But like I said, that fight should be dope. I am more excited now after I saw that interview. But yeah, man, that should be a fun night of boxing, man. I like it's cool, man. You know what's exciting too is that the PBC brought back like good fights. You know what I mean? Really good fights, solid a solid kind of a schedule. You know what I mean? Like I like Top Rank. Top Rank did what they had to do, but I felt like it was more fast food, you know what I mean? It was more like quick and,
right.
There was just kind of more quantity, or, more quantity than quality, you know what I mean? So, this is kind of cool. The PBC definitely, waited a while, but it came good because at the end of the day, bro, at the end of this year, the fight that I'm most excited, man, that's the Davis, Santa Cruz, bro. And, man, I can't wait for that one. I see an upset, bro. I see a unanimous decision. I'm already calling it. Santa Cruz ain't no fucking joke, bro. That dude, he's a smart fighter. You know what I mean? So I just think that. Well, I just wanted to say that that's gonna be my favorite fight of this year, man. Because this, like I said, PBC with this schedule is pretty badass.
Dude, the freaking Chris Mannix said that Leo Santa Cruz is shot worn and basically past his prime. He's done. And he said that Cervantes is going to walk right through him and knock him out by, viciously in the 6th round. It's like, so Leo can't even land a punch on him or what? It was so, obviously he's with DAZN, so he'll say some shit like that, but it's like, So Coppinger said it too. Leo Santa Cruz is shot worn, he's done. I just don't get that. Now, is 130 the best weight for him? No, featherweight's better, but is 130 great for Tank? I mean, he has problems making weight. Now he's in camp. He's already in Vegas and he's in camp with Mayweather, so I do think he'll make weight. But to sit there and disrespect Leo Santa Cruz that much, it just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. Everybody's counting him out. Everybody just because, you got to be honest, right? He's not the most impressive guy when it comes to impressive victories, right? But the guy, he's solid, man. The guy is solid. We've seen him. I mean, he got the win back over fucking Carl Frampton, man. He's pretty, in my opinion, he's pretty solid. I'm not just saying this because he's my fellow Mexican fighter. I got to support and all that. But I just think, man, Davis. I mean, in my opinion, man, even Davis, Davis had not that Floyd is kind of an influence as that, but with the Floyd influence, it's kind of more. Is it did he need help, into this fight? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my opinion. I just having Floyd, he's just already a promoter. I mean,
he fought Pedraza, he fought some Cuellar and stuff like that, Gamboa, but he doesn't have this long list of, accomplishments either. I just thought it was just. So you're telling me Santa Cruz can't even win a round? He's got a jab. I don't know. It was just weak. What else is up, man?
Not much, man. But I mean, right here. Hold on. But yeah, but I was gonna say, but with the Davis fight, like I said, I don't know. Davis, yeah, I don't know. Have you been seeing the Davis training videos? He's got Floyd in the camp now, and I don't know. It's just him. In my opinion, him having Floyd is kind of. It's he just needs help. You know what I mean? I think him really that weight is gonna be.
I think it's a good thing because then they can keep tabs on him, you know. And he's been running with them
definitely.
and all that shit.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, it's definitely a good thing for Davis. I'm not gonna lie about that. But like in my just opinion, like I mean, you don't see Santa Cruz out there, you know, grabbing somebody. I don't know. I just think Santa Cruz is kind of like, you know, doing it solid, huh?
I know what you mean, though. Like it shows.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like
Gervonta's taking it serious, but it's also like, you know, the fact that he's taking it this serious tells me he's not just gonna blow him out in a couple of rounds or whatever, or the way Manning spoke.
Yeah, but also too, man, it would like, man, I don't know, like him with the Gamboa fight. You know, he didn't look like this, you know, this guy anymore. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Like, even him draining himself down to 130, I think that's where we're going to really see, you know, what he you know, how much he has to dig out, because that's going to be a tough weight for him to make, man, in my honest opinion. Like, look at his back-to-back weigh-ins, man. They're all, like, tough, you know what I mean? And I don't know, man. There's a lot of things that are very intriguing with this fight, man, but like I said, that one is my top tier fight of, you know, this fucking of this year, man. Like, I think, you know, I mean, besides the other ones, there was the Charlos, the Charlo night. So that, you know, that's all right. You know what I mean? That's gonna be cool. And also too, man, what do you think about that? The Tyson, the Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Are you in favor or what? Are you kind of like saying these guys shouldn't fight because of their age?
It's an exhibition, you know. The commissioner said an exhibition is to exhibit your skills. You know, there's not going to be judges. There's not official judges. If someone gets cut, the fight's over. And the ref has been told that if someone starts going nuts, he's going to calm them down. So for $50 for a pay-per-view, no thanks. Now, will I find it somehow? Yeah. Will I pay attention to it minor? Sure. But yeah, I'm not too pumped about it. You know?
Oh, okay.
I get it. I get why people have interest in it, but they're not going to fight for real. They've already pushed it back to November 28th. If the fight goes off, we don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but like, I don't know, man, because like, I don't know, Tyson talking about knockouts and shit. So, I mean, you know, in my honest opinion, man, I think they should really because it was supposed to be 1st of September, then it got moved to November or something, right? So I would be like, man, I think they should move this shit out of the country and put it somewhere where they're, you know, I think where it should be considered a pro fight. You know, that's just my honest opinion about that, because I like it. It seems kind of, I mean, shit, you know, it seems pretty good to me for 2025. Why not? It doesn't get any fucking weirder than this fucking year, so, you know, I wouldn't, you know, why not?
Yeah, I guess I just think Roy Jones been knocked out too many times after his prime. And I also saw the last chunk of fights from Tyson. And in 2002 or 2000 or whatever, I would have been much more pumped for this fight, but I just don't want to see two dudes past 50 smashing their brains, and I'm good. I'm good on that. Jones has been knocked out like 3 times more than he needed to. Old as hell.
Yeah.
I just there's a lot of it's all fun and games until someone gets seriously fucked up, and I know that can happen in any boxing event. But when you've been knocked out numerous and you've been fighting and taking all this, I mean, Roy, you know, I don't know. I'm not against it because, like you said, it's 2020, weird shit happens. But I'm not paying $50 for a fake fight.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not if it's a fake fight. If it, you know, but if
it's in America,
they're gonna
it's
really
a
fight
fake
each other.
It's
yeah,
a fake fight.
if it's bro, I would even pay, man.
Instead, we got to put out a buyer beware. We got to put out a buyer beware. That's what he said. These guys they've already agreed that they're not going to go nuts. So, and people say, well, we can't, you know, wonder if you can't control Tyson. Well, you know how they can control it? Just stop the fucking fight. So, I mean, that's pretty easy. And you think he's going to go to jail nowadays just to start beating people like he's just gonna go after Roy after they stop the fight. I doubt it. You know, maybe, but I doubt it. He just seems like a different person now. Doesn't seem like he's got some bloodlust after his opponent. You know what I mean? Not only that, but remember when he retired, he told us he had a breathing issue, and it's kind of like, well, which explained his late rounds and how he wouldn't look good. You think it's gonna be better at 54? Like, nah, dude. I'm good. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm all in, man. I was hoping too, man, with those rumors of it being bare knuckle, and I think that the opponent at the time was Holyfield at the time, because I was seeing the training videos from his side too, man, and I was like, holy shit, if this thing's gonna go real, like, you know, this thing's real. I think, you know, but then, you know, all that bullshit didn't happen, and but I was in favor for it to happen in bare knuckle, bro. Like, man, just
Holyfield,
I don't know, man. I like that shit.
Yeah, Holyfield can't put sentences together. I'm good. You know what I mean? I'll pay attention.
Yeah.
I'll stream it or whatever. But I really don't want to see Holyfield fight anymore. And like I said, maybe it's that I saw him get knocked out too many times where I'm like, I'm good. I was a fanboy of these guys back in the day. And to see him, so maybe I have a little bit more personal stake because I'm older. So it's like, oh, dude, I already saw him take too many punches. Now I get, you know, to me it's more like a sad thing. Then again, though, I do understand. You know, I get it. I totally get why people are pumped because Mike Tyson is a fucking name. You know.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. I get it now, bro. It's all good, man. I get you. I mean, there are some fighters there, you know, that are definitely, you know, you keep the heart. Like, I mean, I would hate to see anything bad happen to my boy Brandon Rios, and you know, the things like that. You know what I mean? That would suck. And but yeah, I got you, brother. And but as far as this, man, the David Benavidez fight, I got David Benavidez. You know, I think this is going to be a fun fight, bro. So I would definitely tell the casual fans to stay tuned to this one. If you're looking for a boxing fight this Saturday, definitely stay in for this. I mean, what else you got to do, right? Everybody's fucking quarantined. So David Benavidez and Romer Angulo, you got to definitely get your tecate and shit for this one, man. I mean, this is a Mexican night here. You know what I'm talking about? So, but as far as what else?
I think it'll be a good TV action fight, like you said.
Also, too, right? You got Carl Frampton, Darren Trainer. You know, that one's pretty. I mean, it's what is it only on BT, like BT Sports? It's not gonna be on DAZN?
Well, I'm pretty sure it'd be on ESPN Plus, not DAZN.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
It's a last second replacement. Like the opponent that he replaced was garbage, but now it's even extra. You know what I mean? So it's a tune-up. It's a tune-up, and he's gonna fight Jamal Herring next. It's a tune-up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what can you do, bro? I mean, what can you do? Look at where we at. You know what I mean with this whole thing. So.
Yeah.
We can only get I mean, also too. Hey, what's up with also too now? Is the fight with Terrence Crawford and Kell Brook, is that one like almost official? Like, is that what's gonna be?
No, it's not almost official. There is talks, but it's not almost official yet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Without pay-per-view, the way Eddie Hearn talked about how much money Kell Brook would have without a pay-per-view, I don't see that happening. But you never know. Not only that, but Kell Brook first of all, he hasn't fought anybody barely at all since Spence 3 years ago. Yeah. And he hasn't made 147 3 years ago. So that kind of, like, I like it for a name, but I'm guessing it'll be the Golden Boy fighter, Teixeira, at 154. Yeah. He'll jump up there because it won't cost a lot of money. And obviously that's the issue right now, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Dang. Damn, that sucks. You know what I mean? And also too, now that I think about it, like, is it hard for promoters due to the pandemic? Like, is it hard for promoters to, co-promote right now? You know, like, are they all keeping it right now in house? Now that I think about it, you know what I mean? Like, Top rank only fighting top rank fighters, PBC fighters fighting only PBC, shit like that. Like, is that, you know what I mean?
I mean, to an extent, but I mean,
like,
the
can
Showtime.
they,
there was probably 5 different promoters involved in the Showtime announcement. 5 of them, I think, 5 different promoters. But I mean, it's just hard to make a big fight right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just hard.
Yeah, that too.
You don't have
just,
the live gate. You don't have. So yeah. Yep. I mean, it's they're gonna help out when they can or whatever, but it's tough to say. We're gonna find out when they give us their fall schedule.
Yeah, you know what they should do, man, and they should do that one thing that the NBA is doing, where you gotta fucking, where you pay for your your visual, to be there. You know what I'm talking about, like your live
I wouldn't doubt
feed or
if
something.
they do that bigger fight. I wouldn't doubt if they do that for the Charlos and all that. I agree.
Yeah,
that could be interesting.
Yeah, it just seems, you know what I mean? Because when I saw the highlights to the Jamal James and Delorme, like, it just seemed kind of too dark. You know what I mean? Like the black. I mean the canvas was too black. It was just black. The ropes were black, and it just kind of seemed I don't know, like too dark. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he kind of put some lights out there. Make it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? I don't know. That's what I saw.
To be honest with you, it didn't really, like, once a fight's on, I'm good. Like, I don't really care about that shit. It didn't seem too dark when I was watching the fight by any stretch, but I do think it's a good idea, though, like, especially for the bigger fights, that people would actually pay maybe a decent price for that. Like you said, the NBA or even MLB, you could put your photo out there and stuff like that. But I like the live stream thing. But remember, that does cost a lot of money just to ship in a big-ass screen, like 3 big-ass screens, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Are you going to make as much money as it would take to buy this freaking equipment? I don't know about that. I have no clue. Maybe you could rent it. Yeah. I really don't know the overhead, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, they probably should, start doing that now, you know what I mean? Because why not, you know what I mean? If they're doing it, why not? Because I don't know, you know what I mean? Kind of make it kind of more live.
Well, has a lot of money, though. They make billions of dollars.
Yeah, I know that.
They're paying $150 million just to be at Disney World. So it's tough to emulate that. But like I said, those screens can't be cheap, dude. You know what I mean? Those big ass screens. There's no way that screen is cheap. But maybe.
No
but
way,
I do like the idea of sitting at home on your computer watching the game, and you can actually see yourself on TV. I think that is good. But you never know. Maybe they do that. Maybe they'd rent one or something for one of those big fights. I just think the overhead to do it time in and time out, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully they have some audience. I don't see it. You know what? At this point, where we at this point, I just don't see any audience by like 2020. Probably maybe like mid 2021. I can maybe see that, but it just seems like as far as the audience, it's not going to happen. My take, but as far as the, like I said, the NBA shit seems kind of what to do. And also this Friday, man, you got I'm definitely staying tuned to this one. You got Telemundo, like I said before. The Spanish fights always are. My opinion, man, you should always watch the Spanish fights because these dudes fight, man. And this one's out there in Florida. And I don't know, I would tell the casual fan, definitely stay tuned to this one because just I don't know, these ones are always pretty cool. The Telemundo ones, man, you get a bunch of young, hungry fighters, and you get to see development fights. So I'll definitely stay tuned to that one. Also too, what else? Also too, man, what's up with Paulie, man? What's up with Paulie? He got fired. He got fired for Showtime, man.
Yeah, yep, he did. He got fired for saying that racial oppression doesn't exist in the 2000s.
Oh. Well,
A lot of people,
you know that.
some odd reason, think it's what he was saying, the other stuff about the Eastern Europeans and all that. I mean, it's not the way Espinoza talked about it. It's not. He has said a bunch of borderline stuff as it is in general. But when you work for a large corporation that has black and Hispanic fighters, and you say there's no racial oppression in the 2000s, you're probably going to get fired. You know, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, and also too, like you know, like you were saying earlier, like, you know, you get how some people are like, you know, we're saying, you know, it's fucked up because, you know, what about freedom of speech and all that, and, you know, all that. But you know, I get it. Like, you know, like if you're working for somebody, you know what I mean, you got to kind of watch what you're saying and, you know, kind of do, you know what I mean? Like when you're on the job, you know what I mean? Even when I'm at the, you know, my job, you know, I can't just be fucking talking like a fucking, you know, all this shit, you know.
Right.
Even cursing up the place, you know what I mean? I can't, you know what I mean? Like you'll look like kind of like an idiot, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You got to watch your mouth, your respect and all that shit.
Make sure I had to sign a contract to make sure that you wouldn't go and dog the just out of nowhere start dogging my place of employment. It's a very normal thing. I get the freedom of speech thing. I'm just talking about reality. And reality is, if you sit there and say, and then he said, well, you can be nitpicky about the George Floyd death. If you want to find some nitpicky stuff, that's, you know, whatever. But there's no racial oppression. And it's like, dog, you're not even black or Hispanic. The fuck would you know about that? You know what I mean? So that's where it's pretty easy. And like I said, the Eastern Europeans, I respect the shit out of them. We follow a lot of them. It's great. We adopt a lot of them. Golovkin got big here. Loma got, like, I like them all, most of them, you know? But, like, that had nothing to do with why he got fired, all that shit. Like, if you're, one of your main jobs is going to have to do with calling fights for black and Hispanic fighters, dog, like, you know, come on. Like, it's pretty common sense. But some people just can't gather that thought. They think, well, that's just his opinion. He should be able to say whatever the fuck he wants. Either way, I don't really want to talk about Paulie anymore.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I don't know, man. It is what it is. To me, I don't know. To me, I got tough skin, so I really don't. To me, he didn't really do anything wrong. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, we're all living in this world, man. We shouldn't be too mad about what people say and hold it too much into our hearts. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Like, kind of let shit go, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Because there's people out there. I don't know. It's all different. But also too, Ryan Garcia also versus Luke Campbell. Like you said earlier, man, is this actually gonna happen? Is this fool really talking about this? Like you said, is this? Because, man, in my opinion, man, if this goes down, man, I have more respect for Garcia because, like, it's like. I was doubting him, not gonna lie. Like you know, previous calls I've said I don't see a legacy. I still don't see a legacy in this kid, bro. Like, but we'll see with this Campbell fight. But I don't know. He's in the gym. You know, you see his videos out there still. You know, he seems still hungry. You know, it really does suck that he lost an opportunity. What was it? The beginning of July. I believe he had a card there, and he didn't take it. For you know, whatever, money wise, but we'll see if he takes this fight. It's pretty cool. This, you know, so he'll be more respected in my opinion. But I don't know. It's just like I said before. This dude he should go look for celebrity fights in my opinion, because I don't know. It's just I still don't see too much in him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the near future. You know what I mean? But also too, what else is the topic, Chris? What else is going on?
I mean, I don't, you know, I don't know. What do you mean? What else is going on? There's not much, a whole lot going on per se. Nothing, you know.
Yeah.
I've talked about a variety of stuff, but it's not something that's necessarily going on or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I guess. It's all good, but yeah, man. As far as that, I'll tell definitely the casual fan to stay to stay tuned for the PBC card. I'll definitely I mean, even though I'm going out of town, but it's all good. You know what I mean? I'm definitely gonna catch it on Sunday or whatever. But yo, Chris, thank you for having me on Viva Ropa Dope Radio and Viva Mexico.
All right, man. Take it easy. Appreciate it. Have fun this weekend too. Heck yeah, it was good to hear Portland. We haven't heard him in quite some time. So I'll just kind of go over some real quick boxing Twitter funny stuff or random stuff, or actually someone just sent this to me. Crawford's last few fights at 147 showed me personally Manny could beat him. It might be close, but I don't see Crawford outboxing or outworking a Manny. It says 40 plus. It's a good fight. Makes me reevaluate my entire opinion on Manny in his 30s. He must have been talking about Thurman before that, but he goes on to say, I felt Bradley, Marquez, Horn weren't accurate measuring sticks for Manny at the full 147 weight class. Cotto was a catch weight fight, but still a slaughter. I felt Thurman, Porter, and a few others would be a better presentation of welterweights. Well, I mean, Bradley was basically a welterweight, but I understand what you're saying. But Horn wasn't like some 135-pounder or something like that. With that said, it was short-sighted take I had about 4 or 5 years ago. If he's able to have 2 or 3 more solid wins against welterweights, it makes my previous take silly. And to the point about Crawford, Manny still has his movement and deceptive speed. Crawford can hurt him because he's physically bigger. But Manny would be the bigger fighter. He's physically speaking, Manny would be the bigger fighter. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I don't agree with a chunk of what he said there, but you know, it is what it is. Oh, here you guys go for your Rick Lazier. There's your Rick Lazier. So before F.A. Ajagba, this is boxing Twitter segment. Before F.A. Ajagba was on the PBC side of things, this is what Rick Lazier said. Ajagba with the victory over a human punching bag. But the Fox announcers act like he can actually fight. A set of eyes can tell you he's very ordinary at best, which, you know, it's not like that's not a fair statement. But here we go. F.A. Ajagba has left the BBC, now is officially signed with Top Rank. And he says, you know, Agenda Crew, hashtag Agenda Crew. This guy's shit. Now, what's he say? Wonder what the LDBC, Haymanites, Agenda Crew have to say now. Probably nothing, as they're all hiding from this quality move by Bob Arum in Ajagba. The Nigerian will now be on ESPN. So now all of a sudden, this dude signs a Top Rank, and he can fight. He can actually fight. No Crawford graphic for the champs at 147. Brian Kenny talking baseball during the main event. Lennox wanting a name change tonight. PBC on Fox is back, baby. That's a good tweet. Snoozer of a main event. I mean, it was a good boxing match for sure, and it had competitive, and it was competitive, but there was no moments. So you're calling that a snoozer of a boxing event? That was Jamal James and Delorme. Okay. Anthony Joshua and Terrence Crawford are the most two-hated boxers in the sport. That's not true. I don't know why people don't like them. They both entertain in their savages in the ring. The most hated? Really? The most hated? Because I don't see all this hate that this dude's talking about. Not to that level, anyway. But when you're damn good, that you know, you are going to get some hate. But I don't think those two are the major guys as far as hate. The cancellation, this is from Deuce, Ranger Rollins. The cancellation of college football isn't a good thing for, cancellation. So far, you know, we don't know if all college football is done, but it does kind of look like it's on the rope. And Hopefully they can do it in the spring. I don't know. It may be kind of a partial season. We'll see. The cancellation of the college football season isn't a good thing in his opinion. More people tuning out of sports in general isn't going to suddenly make boxing more popular. Those audiences were the same ones that they could be leveraged into cross-promotion. I agree with that. I do agree with that. As usual, this one's funny. As usual, boxing is horrible for DVR people. The main event started 5 minutes after the telecast was to end on the TV guide. I mean, if you don't understand live sports in a DVR by now, I don't know what the fuck you've been doing. How big was the boulder or mountain you've been hiding under? And he even says, as usual for boxing, a horrible DVR. Dude, as usual, especially if it's ESPN or Fox or FS1, just extend your goddamn DVR or record the ones after it. However, it's really weird. Okay, this one's from Graham Houston. Okay, here, I was actually talking about this. Piped-in crowd noise for the PBC on Fox really sucks. It's distracting and not necessary. I agree with the not necessary. The really sucks. Whatever, but distracting? I don't know, like, that distracts you? That's just weird. I like Keith Thurman, but I think his best days are long gone. I believe Jose Cito Lopez beat him, but I think that was more to do with the 2-year inactivity. Thurman looked better versus Pacquiao, but still looked the shadow of his old self. Just think he hasn't gotten the same hunger. I think this is bullshit. The same hunger, that's different. But he looked pretty damn good against Pacquiao, dude. To actually say, I believe Jose Cito Lopez beat him? Come on, dude. Same guy here. Aleem and Joe George joined the list of Clay Collard taking full advantage of all their opportunities during COVID. That's a good call. All relatively unknown, but Aleem proved he's ready for a title shot. George, his knockout went viral. And Collard gained respect from every single boxing fan. You're talking about every single hardcore, like hard to the hardcore fan? Because Collard, I don't know about that, but whatever. Oh, Teofimo Lopez. The fight is going to happen. Stuff like this sometimes just takes longer to happen. That's why it's called negotiating for a reason, dumbasses. That's what he said. This is last week. Barbosa Box says it was better not to say anything. Just lost leverage in your negotiation chance. Well, being the fact that he never had any leverage in this one, you know, he never had any leverage. Obviously, if you haven't even gotten an offer when it's like 8 to 10 weeks out from the fight, you haven't even gotten the offer. Well, I mean, it'd be different if it was Floyd back in the day or something. Not back in the day, but a chunk of years ago when maybe or whatever, but he didn't have leverage, so I disagree with that. Here we go. How are you going to say I don't believe there's any racial oppression today, yada, yada, yada. Here we go. This is actually interesting about Paulie. Paulie was silent when Ahmaud Arbery was killed, when the false claims that Arbery was running, because he was robbing a house. Paulie retweeted and said the truth came out. After there was, proven that it was false, he deleted it and it just stayed silent. That's a classic Paulie or anybody ignorant like this. So you don't say anything about something that seems pretty fucked up, but then you come out and be, the truth comes out when the real truth didn't come out. That's classic ignorance. You see that all over Twitter. Hate to be cynical here, but you all really like Cheeseman and Eggington fight. Quality of fight-wise, it was no better than anything TR put out. And I'm sorry, I'm not talking about the cool optics and all that. I agree with that part. But Cheeseman and Eggington, the quality of fight-wise, it was no better than anything TR had out. Did you watch, all those 4 and 6 rounders? Oh, here we go. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, $50. Great pricing. Predicting 3 million buys. Great pricing for a fake fight. Oh my God, this fucking one. Oh Jesus Christ. Okay. Why is holding and hitting below the belt illegal? If these tactics were made legal, we would see some of the greatest entertainment in boxing history. Why is holding and hitting below the belt illegal? I mean, both those things happen anyway. So when he says these tactics were legal, well, they're borderline legal as it is, hitting it. You know, we see warnings and point deductions, but we keep saying it, you know, fight in and fight out. We see holding, and it's just funny. It would be, so if you could hit below the belt and hold, it would be the greatest entertainment in boxing history. Oh, boy. Okay. Sure, buddy. Sure. Okay. Okay, one more, and then I'll get out of here. From Wilder's team perspective, was Tyson Fury a cherry pick gone wrong? My opinion is that his team wanted AJ fight. Since it didn't materialize, a Fury fight would be just the fight to give Wilder that extra boost he needed. If the AJ fight was ever going to be revisited, a win over Fury gives Wilder more leverage against AJ, which is why the invisible lineal belt was mentioned and hyped up. Well, no, it was because he had the lineal, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. I love that, the cherry pick gone wrong. The dude had a long-ass fat camp. What was it, 6 months, 8 months, something like that. Then he has a camp, has a fight, has a camp, has a fight. So you're on your third camp. You didn't have a fat camp and go right into camp, or have a fat camp during camp. The cherry picking thing always makes me laugh on that particular fight. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. You guys enjoy the fights this week, and we'll be back next week. And I'm just going to say peace because I already played the Figueroa outro, or the intro, the outro I usually say. Anyway, peace.